For a lot of you guys watching this video, I imagine you're in the same boat as I am. Way back in the day, in some of the earlier FIFAs, you probably lost hours and hours just messing about in the training grounds of previous FIFAs. Messing about in the training ground has not been one of the staples of FIFA for a very long time now, and I think that needs to change. Today, I'm going to talk about an idea that I want to put forward for FIFA 18, or potentially for a FIFA in the future. And that idea, ladies and gentlemen, is reviving the training ground. Now, what exactly do I have in mind for training grounds in FIFA? And how do I want to bring it back? Well, first let me talk a little bit about my inspiration behind this idea. First up, over the last couple of years, I've learned of some absolutely incredible and immaculate training grounds all over the world. For example, that incredible training ground in Monaco. I think it's called the Le Toby or the Le Turb Training Center, and it's just got a gigantic rock face, and it's literally on top of a gigantic mountain. That is one of the coolest facilities and just coolest football pitches in the world, bar none. And then there's just a bunch of other incredible footballing pitches all over the world. For example, there's this one. This image floated around social media a little bit of a football pitch that was completely surrounded by a forest, just trees everywhere that you looked. There are so many amazing, iconic football locations that I would personally love to see implemented and added into FIFA. It'd be awesome if you could play actual football games, whether it just be in kickoff against, I don't know, Manchester United versus Manchester City, and instead of playing it in an actual real life stadium or just a default stadium, maybe you could load up one of these absolutely incredible spaces. Then again, I understand that sort of kills the realism a little bit, plus there wouldn't really necessarily be much of a crowd to cheer you on. So I understand that maybe we don't make them a stadium in the game, but maybe you could potentially turn it into a training ground. I'm also very inspired by what 2K did with NBA 2K17 when they implemented something called My Court. My Court was, as it sounds, a totally customizable basketball court, and you could change basically everything about it, whether it be to the floorboard, to the design of it, the nets, the backboard, and basically the overall location of where your My Court was placed. Your My Court could have been located in a warehouse, or I don't know, it could have been located in a gigantic penthouse. But it was a totally customizable court that people could spend money on, and they could also invite their friends online to play them on their court. So, after developing a bit of a want for some of these more exotic football pitches to be put into FIFA and not just regular stadiums, and on top of seeing what 2K did with their My Court, I came up with customizable training grounds. I would love for us to go back to previous FIFAs where instead of just immediately jumping into the menu, you can start kicking about in your training ground first. You could do all the things that you can currently do in training, for example, practicing your penalties, practicing your free kicks, maybe going back to what we were doing way back when and have practice football matches where you'd set yourself up with 11v11 or maybe 5 versus 5 or something like that, something that they did way back when. I think we're talking FIFA 07 or maybe even earlier than that. And of course, there's skill games as well, which you would be able to do on your training ground as well, your very own customized training ground. Now, when it actually comes to customization, there's a few things that you could do. For example, you could change the pitch, you could change the color of the nets, things like that. But the big thing for me is the actual location of the training ground. Back in some of the older FIFAs, there were some amazing locales that you could have your training ground. It could just be normal suburban England, it could be in the favelas in Rio, or maybe you could be on top of a skyscraper in Tokyo. I would love for EA to bring those sort of themes back, where you could allow people to buy and earn potential new unlockable locations for your training ground. They could create a bunch of default training ground areas that are located all across the globe, in a whole bunch of different regions, in a whole bunch of different locales. You could just earn and buy them like normal, and maybe you could even recreate some of those real world training ground facilities, for example, that incredible one in Monaco. I mean, heck, they could even put an indoor training facility in the game. How cool would that be? Because we haven't been able to play indoor in FIFA since, I don't know, FIFA Street, and that's not really even technically an actual FIFA game. I mean, yes, it is EA Sports, but I mean, it's not FIFA. And heck, if they're making an indoor facility available, then why not just go overboard with it? Why not make a snowy mountaintop a potential training location? Why not have a gigantic football pitch paralleled in the sky, hanging off a skyscraper like that one in Dubai? I'm aware that that's like more of a tennis court than it is a football pitch, but still. One of the reasons I'm actually sort of secretly hoping this could be something that happens in FIFA is because it's going back to something I've been talking about for a long time now, about for EA Sports to monetize offline game modes. Because right now, when they sell a copy of FIFA, the only extra revenue that they get from us after it's sold is through Ultimate Team. If they found a way to monetize career mode and to, I don't know, turn the catalog into, instead of just what it is now, a couple of small things that you can add to your career modes and your pro clubs and stuff like that, they just went completely overboard with it and just added a bunch of extra stuff to it. That would be sensational. And the custom, or should I say the catalog, would also be where you would go to buy these training ground upgrades and these locations and these customizable things. That's what I've got in mind at the moment. I also recently came up with this idea as well about, imagine if there's only certain unlockable training grounds in the game that only a certain amount of people can get. Like, let's say you're in the top 100 for FIFA Ultimate Team. You're absolutely smashing it in FUT Champions and you fall into that top 100 category. Maybe at the end of every single month, everyone in the top 100 will be unlocking a brand new exclusive training ground that only they can have. It's something I've given a fair bit of thought to. It's something I would absolutely love to see in FIFA 18 or 19 or 20 or whatever sometime in the future, but I don't know what the general consensus is around this idea. What do you guys think? Are you interested in the possibility of having a personal, customizable training ground in FIFA that you can just mess around in and do training drills and skills and stuff like that in? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't know, man. Personally, I would love to see this happen in FIFA. I've got a bunch of other ideas as well that I would love to see happen in future FIFAs too. I might make a few other videos similar to this, going over some of those ideas. Just put them out there, see what the feedback is, and see if there's any sort of big demand for it. But let me know what you think about this idea, guys. Until next time, my name is MasterBucks. I have more videos coming very soon, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good one.